These gourmet homemade chicken Kievs are a brilliant way to reinvent a family favourite.
Good thing about this is that the amount of meat you get is so much greater than if you buy them in the shops. Yeah. So just to give you an example, out of one chicken breast, commercially made chicken Kiev, they'll make 6 Kievs. Okay.
Really?
So yeah, so you'll get a lot more meat by doing it yourself, and it's really, really simple.
Okay.
You gonna help me?
Yeah.
Begin by making a simple garlic butter. Add garlic, chives and parsley to soften butter and then beat until smooth. Roll up in cling film to make a sausage shape, and once set, it's ready for my assistant Fletcher to stuff into the chicken breast.
That's it. Beautiful. That's it. So now we've got to get on what we call pane. So pane is putting in breadcrumbs, okay?
Breadcrumbs are one of those things, of course, that you can use bits of bread that you think you're not going to eat, you know, the ends of the bread.
Right.
You can make them into breadcrumbs and freeze them.
In fact, the 80 grams of homemade breadcrumbs that we're using cost 4 pence. The same amount of pre-made ones are far pricier at 33 pence.
Dip each stuffed chicken breast in flour, egg and breadcrumbs.
Somebody would say, oh, make your own chicken Kiev, and I'd think, oh, that'll take ages. Just to think that I've got to do that, that's probably just as quick as me getting it out the packet and putting it in the
Exactly.
oven.
But Matt, your genius doesn't end there, does it?
Nope.
Once these are prepared, you can freeze these and eat them within 6 months.
Why don't we just get another freezer?
You don't need enough.
You can't fill the one you got. Yeah.
I think someone's excited about these.
They look exactly like the real thing.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Does that make you want to eat them?
yeah.
Good. Because that's the idea.
But the real thing has more breadcrumbs.
Yeah, all right. I can't do everything, you know what I mean? I'm not a magician. But they're nice and big, aren't they?
Yeah.
Once crisp, bake in the oven at 200 degrees for 10 minutes. Served with tomato pilau rice, these succulent homemade chicken Kievs are more delicious than the Smith's usual pre-made version, and they sneak in at just under a fiver at £4.99. Boom! We're going to create tasty chicken and roast vegetable pizza planks, which will be ready for when the family return.
It's a healthy pizza, and it's going to be pretty filling as well.
Come on then, show us what you're made of.
Using store cupboard staples, begin by adding 6 teaspoons of baking powder to a kilo of plain flour.
Now, this is what it will give it that rise instead of the yeast.
Add a sprinkling of salt and gradually add water, kneading as you go. To make the topping, blitz chopped tomatoes, garlic, basil and tomato puree.
Is it going everywhere? No, you're right.
Pink shirt was a bad choice.
Roll out the dough and spread on the sauce.
We know that the children are reluctant to eat their pizza crust, but if we put the sauce all the way to the edge...
Yeah, hopefully there won't be any wastage.
We're topping with onions, pepper, chicken and mozzarella, which we found, but you could use any cheese or other toppings which you might have in. Finally, drizzle over olive oil.
Sorry, what's your trouser?
At a cost of just £3.55, these pizza planks are a third of the price of the family's usual frozen pizzas, which cost Paula a total of £12.
Whilst they bake, we're slathering chocolate spread onto the leftover dough and topping with bananas to make some sweet calzones for the kids' pudding. And at just 89 pence, they're easy on the purse strings.
What else could you put in your sweet calzones?
Grated apple with jam.
We've used chocolate spread costing 50p, as the family already had it in their cupboard, but you could use apricot jam for just 30p.
Once filled, fold over your dough and crimp the edges.
Not quite as elegant as you'd be doing it, is it?
Dodgy crimping aside, we're hoping that these mouth-watering chicken and roasted vegetable pizza planks and gooey chocolate calzones will encourage the Laycocks to start getting creative with their cooking.
And at a total cost of £4.86, that's more than a 50% saving on Paula's usual spend per meal.
Toad in the hole.
This is a great way of using up the sausages that too often we throw away. We get rid of 400 million sausages a year, and half of those are ones that we've already cooked, planned to eat, and then chuck in the bin.
Like these.
Leftover cooked meat doesn't need to be chucked out, but if you are going to reinvent it, then you'll need to use it within 2 days and reheat until piping hot. Next up, the batter.
I can guarantee one thing.
It will go lumpy.
It will definitely go lumpy.
A little bit smoother than
I guaranteed you would get lumps, and guess what?
You all right? Yep,
There's
you're
a
right.
lumpy batter for you.
But you keep beating it. Right, I'll tell you what we need to do now.
Using leftover thyme, we're going to make this batter sing.
A lot of us end up wasting the herbs that we buy because we're not quite sure what to do with them. Of course, that is just throwing money away.
Hard herbs, like thyme, for example, rosemary, sage. If you bought too many, you could leave them on your windowsill and they dry out.
Literally DIY dried herbs.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there. Thyme stalks are full of flavour, so they're going to be used to create a gravy, along with leftover onions and garlic.
We've got a glass of wine here. Now, a lot of people have got this kicking around, and that's going to give it a real sort of depth of flavour.
Is there any concern about using red wine in a dish you're going to be serving to children?
None at all.
Boiling it off will remove most of the alcohol, but still leave a rich flavour.
What have you got in that pan, Matt?
Okay, so over here we're making a little mash from carrots and swede.
Because of the popularity of potatoes, swede has long been sidelined, but it's great value and has got a lot going for it.
It's got the delicious sweetness. It's full of goodness, full of starch. It's going to fill you up.
And carrots, of course, good value at any time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of butter, bit of black pepper. That's it. We're there.
Our swede and carrot mash cost 64 pence for 4 people, but a pre-made supermarket version would cost around £1.70, more than 2.5 times as much.
That is delicious.
It's nice, isn't it?
Really tasty.
Thanks, Susannah.
This Monday night meal, made entirely from unloved leftovers, came in with change from a fiver at £4.63.
I'm showing the Thompson Ranas, 5 meals, each under a fiver, and Tuesday's dinner is next on the menu.
Remember the challenge, Matt? This one needs to be even cheaper than the last.
Got it.
This is the kind of meal that's going to utilise the odds and ends, like this, bit of broccoli that's going out of date, that you don't have to throw away.
Just to clarify, I found that coriander and broccoli in the bin, and now nothing is going to waste, including the stalks.
There's loads of goodness in this, and it's going to taste better in that dish than it is in the bin.
Right, pens at the ready, here we go. Pasta on to boil, followed by the broccoli. Oil in a pan, chop the garlic.
Right, so garlic in.
Chop some chilli, add to the pan, along with the cooked pasta and the broccoli. And then finally, sardines.
Canned fish is good value, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it sits in the cupboard quite happily for upwards of 20 years.
Tin sardines contain the same levels of omega-3 as fresh, so you can get all the nutritional benefits, but on a budget. 2 cans of these cost us 80 pence, but it would have been £2.66 for the same quantity of fresh fillets.
For added flavour, Matt's rescued a pack of herbs from the freezer too.
I know you won't believe this, but this was on offer. I think it was about 20 pence. When it defrosts, it actually looks pretty good.
And to top it off, here's what you can do with stale bread.
Rather than chucking it out to the birds, what we can do here is what they call pangrattato, which is just breadcrumbs, fried.
And can you freeze that, Matt?
Absolutely, and it will make life a lot easier.
As well as bread, any leftover veg scraps can be frozen in bags and herbs in an ice cube tray. Used straight from the freezer to add flavour to soups, stir-fries and more.
It smells absolutely amazing.
Pretty good, eh? But I'm not finished yet.
There's more money left over to make a really nice fruitcake laced with tea.
We simply soaked raisins from the store cupboard in tea and added to a homemade cake mix to make this amazingly moist fruit tea cake.
But surely all of this can't be cheaper than the last feast.
How much do you think it cost?
£4.50
Well, there's your change. Boom!
for both courses.
Yes, exactly.
All the ingredients cost £3.55. It's more than £1 cheaper than the previous feast, and this bargain banquet saved us a trip to the bin. Well done, Matt.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. I love that your kids are still eating the spaghetti while we're chowing down on the cake.
Well, hopefully a Mexican fiesta of a feast is going to be so tasty the Harveys will lick their plates clean. There's lots of filling side dishes and it's great for the kids as it's hands-on, fun to eat and full of spicy flavours we know they love.
So pretty much everything's getting pulled these days, including chicken, all right? So we're going to cook this nice and slowly and then basically break it up. And all pulled means is just to shred, just to break up.
Any leftover chicken after the meal is great to keep in the fridge and add to sandwiches, salads, wraps and pies.
There are more new Mexican restaurants opening than new hamburger bars.
Wow. And it's spicy as well, which is what we like.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very cool and trendy at the moment.
Into the food processor goes a chopped red onion, juice and the zest of an orange, 3 roughly chopped garlic cloves, and half a tin of chopped tomatoes, followed by oregano, thyme, and smoked paprika.
Right, lid on, split. So chicken in here.
For our pulled chicken, we're going to use the thigh. It's cheap and tasty, and bone-in thigh adds to the flavour.
And saves more money, Matt. Per kilo, filleted chicken thigh is more than double the price of bone-in, and breast is around 37p on top of that.
Plus, chicken breast would dry out in a slow-cooked dish like this. Before cooking, cover the chicken with wet baking paper or foil.
So there you go. So that will go in probably at about 140 degrees we'll check it after an hour.
Okay.
Okay?
Low and slow.
Easy. To finish off the meal, we're making a homemade salsa and refried beans. Kidney beans are an ideal way to bulk out a meal and a great low-cost store-cupboard staple, and 400 grams is perfect for a family of 4.
So there we go, a Mexican feast for all the family, and plenty of ideas for cheap dishes that won't go to waste. All this came in at £4.74. That's just £1.19 a head. And with change from a £5, of course. It's time for the big one, a Friday night feast for the whole family for under a £5.
Don't worry, I'm on it. Now, we know that they're foodies who want to eat the best but end up wasting a lot of what they buy. So not only is my final dish a great way to use up leftover veg, it also taps into current foodie trends.
I'm going to show you how you can rustle up a feast. Okay, it's going to be a Japanese-inspired feast.
There's currently an explosion of Japanese cuisine in Britain, with ingredients easier to source than ever. There are now 2/3 more Japanese restaurants here than 5 years ago. And I'm hoping that this feast of miso soup, katsu curry, and vegetable fritters will knock the Austin's socks off.
Okay, who's going to start chopping?
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
That's fine.
Come on then.
Katsu curry is traditionally made with chicken, but tonight we're doing a vegetable version, as it's a great way for Mum to use up veg that she might ordinarily throw out. Harry's helping me by chopping onion, carrot, apple and celery for the base of the sauce.
Perfect.
And leaving to sweat.
Okay, Nikki, you're up. So these mushrooms, right, I think what we're going to do is pane them whole. Do you know what pane is?
Breadcrumbing them?
Yeah. So these are Japanese breadcrumbs. These are panko breadcrumbs, and they got a very nice, coarse texture. So they're quite trendy. Restaurants have been using them for years.
Thinly sliced portobello mushrooms and dip in flour, egg and breadcrumbs.
Do you like getting your fingers dirty when you're cooking, Nikki? No, not really. I can tell.
Okay, so put a heaped teaspoon of the curry powder in there. Beautiful, and stir that through.
Add curry powder and vegetable stock to make the curry sauce, and then blend. Finally, shallow fry the breaded mushrooms, ready to serve with the sauce. Katsu curry done. We're also combining grated carrot, courgette and onion with flour and beaten egg to make little vegetable fritters. As we also made them a traditional miso soup, that's 3 sumptuous courses, including a side of rice, and all for just £4.49. Well under a £5. Boom! I'm rustling up smoked haddock fish cakes, which are cheap, perfect to freeze, and can be served 2 ways. One for the kids and one for the grown-ups.
So what are you going to do first?
Okay, we need to poach the fish.
Begin with milk, add your smoked haddock fillets, onions and bay leaves, and poach for 10 minutes. Mash up cooked potatoes and add the fish.
So you've got 2 fillets of fish here, which would normally feed 2 people, but by adding the potato, which is a cheap ingredient, you're stretching this out to a family of 4.
Absolutely, it gives you texture, and because this fish is so well flavoured, you'll turn a meal for 2 into a meal for 4 easily.
Add breadcrumbs and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard.
Look a bit shocked.
Risky with children.
Do you think? I think we need to introduce them to different flavours.
You're the chef.
It's in, it's too late.
On your head be it.
Shape into cakes and dust in flour.
You see, I'm reluctant to get my hands dirty, whereas it's the thing you most enjoy about cooking, isn't it?
And the fact that making your own is a great way of saving money.
Shop-bought fish cakes like these cost on average 96p each, but ours cost just 67p, almost a third cheaper.
We're trying to save this family not just money, but time as well. So this is a good example of something that you could freeze. Do you need to cook these before you freeze them?
I would cook them first, and then put them in the freezer. I think in this state, the potato would take on too much water.
To make this dish child-friendly, we're serving the boys' fish cakes with a homemade tomato ketchup, made by softening diced onion, adding chopped tomatoes, sugar and vinegar, and leaving to reduce.
This homemade tomato ketchup costs just 22p. The same amount of the leading brand would be 59p, more than 2.5 times more expensive.
To create a more restaurant-style dish for Sharon and Dave, we're making up a rich, creamy hollandaise sauce. Begin by melting butter and separating 2 eggs.
What can we do with the egg whites that you've separated?
You can freeze them, and then you can pull them out another day.
Over a pan of water, whisk white wine vinegar with your egg yolks, making sure they don't scramble. Remove from the heat and whisking all the while, add melted butter, a small amount at a time, to ensure it doesn't split.
I'm nervous just watching you make it.
Don't be nervous, it's just an egg yolk. You're the one with the degrees.
But a degree in politics doesn't necessarily make you qualified to make hollandaise sauce.
I reckon you could have a crack at it. Keep whisking until the sauce thickens.
Boom!
Finally, pan fry the fish cakes for 3 minutes each side. Once cooked, they're ready to serve with spinach, poached eggs and hollandaise for the adults, and spinach and homemade ketchup for the kids. Not only is this dish a fantastic homemade alternative to their usual convenience food, it's also bang on budget at £4.41.
For this Friday night meal, you're going head-to-head with a Chinese takeaway, but at a fraction of the cost.
3 different dishes. Chicken and sweet corn soup. We're going to do sweet and sour pork, and we've got some fried rice to go with it. Any questions?
No.
Excellent.
No,
On you
sounds
go.
good.
Takeaways are Britain's £30 billion a year habit, and Chinese, the country's favourite. Amy and Stephen's habit alone can add £80 a week to their food bill. But can Matt prove that he and Stephen can surprise the family by making something just as tasty at home?
Ha! No problem.
The proof is going to be in whether it gives you the same sort of satisfaction, the same flavours, the same variety as you would order.
I think you can't cook the same as a takeaway.
That's the challenge for you, Matt, isn't it? To make it taste as good as the takeaway.
I'm absolutely confident they won't be disappointed.
Right, chuck all that in. Right, pork. Used this before?
Never used a piece like that.
This cut of tenderloin pork is great value, costing £1.60. That's more than 30% less than the chicken breast equivalent.
Delicious piece of meat as well. What you need to do with it, you see all this sinew. If you were to leave all this sinew on, it's going to tighten in the pan. And so you'll get a very, very kind of chewy piece of meat. So what we need to do is just get rid of all that white sinew.
But don't throw them out. Freeze them and add to soups.
In with the pork then.
Okay.
Okay, give that a stir then.
Add sugar, soy sauce, vinegar, stock and ketchup. And it's done. But of course it wouldn't be a Chinese takeaway without egg fried rice. And it wouldn't be a Friday night feast without pudding. So we're using the yoghurt mountain in the fridge to make New York style cheesecake.
But how does your version compare to the real deal? Matt, are you ready for the ultimate taste test?
And that actually tastes like sweet and sour.
Excellent.
That's what you were hoping for. If it was in a
Amazing.
plastic tub, I wouldn't have even questioned it. I would have thought you'd gone and bought it.
Please. There you go. Very good, very good.
And don't forget, we've been crafty with those yoghurts that were clogging up the fridge.
How much yoghurt would you use to sort of make this?
2 tablespoons per portion.
So a couple of yoghurts going out a day.
Exactly.
You could make this.
OK, Matt, you've convinced them on taste, but what about cost?
A fabulous feast for 4. How much do you think this came in at?
Probably £8.
That's what I was thinking.
There you go. Great minds think alike.
There's your change from £5
£4.99.
for everything.
£1.25 per head for this entire feast.
Chinese for £1.25.
Tastes like it's come from the Chinese takeaway.
Yeah.
Do you know what we can do? Open up a Chinese restaurant. There's a good profit in it.
With just a little pre-planning and being savvy with ingredients, Matt's made a meal with puddings to rival the £40 takeaway for just £4.99. Matt's enlisting 6-year-old Remy to be his sous chef.
So we're going to do a little fish and lentil curry.
Chop 1 onion, ginger and separated coriander stalks. No waste here, Susannah.
Pleased to hear it.
Next, grate a lime, Add star anise, chopped onion and garlic to a heated pan, and then fry for 5 minutes. Add chili powder and turmeric, and the finely chopped coriander stalks. In goes Remy's lime zest, and lentils, which will help satisfy the hungriest of tummies.
It's a good filler, you know, and they're very cheap.
Chuck in a fish stock cube and enough water to cover the ingredients. And now for the main attraction, the fish.
So often the cheapest fish you can buy is a bag of frozen fish fillets, but it's also a good source of protein, and it's also frozen at sea, so all the goodness is still in there.
Fresh fish from the supermarket can actually be up to 14 days old by the time it reaches the shelves.
So when Matt said it's time for frozen fish, what did you think? Because you have an issue about the flavour of frozen ingredients, don't you?
Yeah. I didn't want to judge it until it's cooked, to be honest with you.
We're using 400 grams of frozen coli, costing £1.90. The same amount fresh would cost £2.80. That's more than 45% more expensive.
Once the mixture has simmered for 20 minutes, add the fish pieces and then cook for a further 10 minutes. Then squeeze in 2 limes.
Are they fighting back? Is it a bit like arm wrestling with your dad, squeezing a lime?
Roughly chop the basil and coriander leaves, stir through the curry, and it's ready to serve.
Stir it through right at the end, just before it hits the table, keeping all that freshness in.
This filling fish curry came in at £4.74. That's just £1.19 per head, with 26p change from a fiver. Over a quarter of us say we have food left over from the weekend, so Monday night is the perfect time for a quick and easy meal that uses those leftovers.
I'm rustling up this tasty, crispy Cajun chicken on a bed of jewelled couscous.
This is the key ingredient, these thighs.
We found amongst their chicken stockpile in the fridge some reduced thighs with bone in. This is a great money-saving tip if you actually use it.
So the best way to buy it was with skin on and bone in. The more the butcher does to the chicken, the more expensive it's going to be.
These cost on average £2.24 per kilo, as opposed to deboned chicken thighs costing over twice as much. All you need to do is cut the bone out and flatten it.
We think that by spending more, we're saving time in the kitchen. Does it make you feel manly doing that?
As I was saying, spending more on convenience food doesn't always save you time in the kitchen, but clever recipes do.
Next, make a coating with flour, salt, cumin and paprika, and separate the white from a couple of eggs.
But you're not going to throw those away, are you?
No, these yolks are going to go in the next dish.
But even if you're not using the yolks immediately, don't throw them, freeze them. You can use them direct from frozen to enrich hot sauces, or defrost them to make a homemade mayonnaise. Dip the chicken in the flour mix, egg white and cornflakes, and then fry them.
Don't overcrowd the pan, otherwise the temperature drops.
And I've also found a pack of couscous in the cupboard that can be brought to life with salad, parsley and mixed beans.
Hang on a moment. I would have thought of pomegranate as a luxury item.
It's considered a luxury item, but we're not going to use a lot.
The pomegranate costs £1, but we're only using 20 pence worth. The rest can be used in salads throughout the week. The same quantity of pre-packed seeds would have cost 63 pence.
That looks fabulous.
I know, but there's more. I'm combining tinned tuna, sweet corn, spring onions, a bit of flour, those leftover egg yolks, and a touch of water to make little fishy fritters.
And this 2-course Monday night meal, made entirely with food otherwise destined for the bin, came in with change from a fiver at £4.61.
Boom! This crispy bacon and red pepper tortilla will be ready to surprise the family when they return and prove to them how they can turn the food they're wasting into delicious meals.
Let's see if I can actually crack an egg into this bowl without leaving some shell behind.
No, you can't.
Oh, I thought you'd miss that bit. I thought you wouldn't notice.
Nothing gets past me.
Can't blame a girl for trying.
Now let's get cooking. Fry onions, red pepper and smoky bacon.
And with that smoked bacon and those nice sweet onions, I mean, this is the sort of ingredients that elevate a very sort of quite a dull-tasting omelette into something, you know, quite special.
Next, we're adding the potatoes we've dug out the bin and part-boiled.
Fantastic to be able to use those potatoes that they'd got nervous about because they'd gone beyond their best before date.
It's a total waste. So this, I think, hopefully, when they eat it, they won't realise that these were the potatoes they had in their bin. And that will slowly break down that kind of, that mental barrier.
That's what I'm hoping for anyway, Susannah. Next up, pour in whisked eggs and sprinkle on cheese.
We've used 40 grams of cheddar, costing 18p. But if you fancy something more exotic, you could use feta for just 11 pence more.
Finally, brown under a medium grill for 10 to 15 minutes. And whilst the tortilla cooks, I'm throwing together a salad, and my bin obsession isn't over yet.
So here are the ingredients that we dug out the bin. Nothing wrong with them.
Washed and clean.
Our bin-bound spring onions, asparagus and cucumber are now sliced. Using 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, we're whipping up a vinaigrette and tossing over some salad leaves we found in the fridge. To extend the life of your bag salad, try blowing into the bag and sealing tightly. The CO2 should keep it from going soggy and make it last longer.
That is unbelievable. There is no way they are going to think that is using up
From the bin.
a bag of salad and a whole load of stuff they thought was past its best.
Tell you what, let's get them to eat it first and then we'll tell them.
Sneaky, but I like your style.
You'll like it even more when I tell you that this sensational crispy bacon and red pepper tortilla and salvage side salad comes in well under a £5.